what characteristics do we look for in students? And in lots of ways, this is reflective of what I've said to you about the nature of the institution. So first and foremost, we're looking for people who are really interested in their chosen subject. And you might say, well, why wouldn't I apply for a subject that I'm really interested in? And the short answer is that sometimes your mum and dad get to you and get you to apply for something that they've always wanted you to apply for rather than that you genuinely want to apply for. So I always say to mums and dads, look, there are 3 colleges dedicated solely to mature students at Cambridge, and all colleges will take students above the age of 21, so you can apply too. You don't have to do it through your children. So your job is to talk to your children, help them make good decisions, but in the end, let them make their own decisions. Students, your job is to focus on something that you're really, really interested in, because that's what we'll be looking at first and foremost. At this stage, you might not be sure, and that's totally normal. So there are lots of people at age 16 and a half, 17, 17 and a half who don't know yet. And your job over the next few months, through reading, watching some lectures, perhaps University Open Days and the like, is to get a better sense of that. I mean, I was always really interested in history, and I was always really good at history at school, so it seemed obvious to me, but I still went through that process of thinking, well, what about French? What about English? Other things that I was good at and I liked before I came back to history. So even though I was basically sure, I still went through the process of exploring, and that's a useful thing to do. If you are sure, that's great. If you're not sure, it's normal. You might be torn between 2 quite radically different things. That's quite normal as well. Your job is to decide over the next few months. You also need to think about the fit between what you're interested in and how good you are. So a good illustration of this is to think about economics. Cambridge Economics is a really, really mathematical course. There will be people out there doing economics A-level, really enjoying economics A-level, and among the best students in the class, who are not brilliant natural mathematicians. Unless you're a brilliant natural mathematician, the Cambridge Economics course is not the right course for you. There are other economics courses, in Oxford, for example, PPE, Politics, Philosophy and Economics, or Economics and Management, which are less mathematical. So you're really interested in economics, but you're not such a brilliant mathematician, then you need to focus on economics courses that don't require you to be a brilliant mathematician. So it's important that you think about your skill set in relation to the courses that you're applying for, as well as what you like, because that's certainly something that we'll be thinking about too. In economics, every year we interview people for economics who we think are really interested, really good students, but they don't quite have that maths edge that we're looking for. And we end up saying to one another, what a shame, really good kid, like them a lot, lots of potential, but this isn't the right course. Probably should have applied for PPE at Oxford. So think hard about what you're good at as well. Then we're very interested in what I call here your academic trajectory. And I use those words advisedly because we want to see people who are on the way up, or if they're already performing really, really well, are going to carry on performing really well. What we're always a little bit wary about is people who have in the past been really good and who are taking a bit of a nosedive. So what that means in practice is that we're focused primarily upon how you're going to do in your A-levels or equivalent. It might be the IB, it could be French Bac or German Abitur, could be College Board, advanced placements, whatever it might be, depending on where you come from. But we're looking for really strong performance at that stage. And that matters more than how well you did at age 15, 16. That's a factor too, but it's a less important factor. It's the trajectory that we're looking at. And as we stress here, although the standard entry level for Cambridge, 1A star, 2As in the arts and humanities, 2A stars and an A in the sciences is quite high, the reality is that the people who get in are even better than that. In many universities, the standard offer is almost a marketing tool. You can get in with grades below the standard offer. In Cambridge, it's the other way around. The standard offer is a kind of point of embarkation. This is the level that you need to be at to be competitive. The reality is that most people who get in will be doing better than that again. So you need to be somebody who is going to be doing really well by the time you get to the end of your sixth form studies. An important dimension in that is likely to be how hard you work. And we stress here that the average Cambridge student works about 45 hours a week. We know that not because we tell them to, but because that's what they do. and it's been monitored by external agencies, in fact, by the consumer organisation which looked at work rate at all universities and in all subjects about 3 or 4 years ago. Very interesting bit of research. And Cambridge, together with Oxford, were the 2 universities where students worked hardest. So you need to think of it like a full-time job, probably 6 days a week, and pretty much normal working hours. You're going to be working the whole time. Now, it won't necessarily be the normal working hours. It might be that on a Wednesday afternoon you play football or rugby or whatever it might be, or you've got drama rehearsals and you work in the evening instead, or you make up some time on Sunday. However, you'll need to work hard. So if you're somebody who has never really worked at that level, you need to think hard about whether this is going to be right for you too. Because you can go to other very good universities in the Russell Group, the research-intensive universities, and get a very good degree, which will be extremely well respected by employers on quite a lot less work than that, probably more like 27, 28 hours a week. So there is a difference, and you need to be aware of that. Beyond that, we're looking for people who've got really good core knowledge, in technical subjects have got good technical fluency, and these are things that we test in the admissions process. There aren't that many subjects in the arts and humanities where there is that heavy emphasis upon the technical. I suppose the 2 would be economics and modern languages. To a degree, architecture, because you're looking for sketching, drawing ability. In the sciences, the technical focus is much more common. In every subject, we're looking for independent learning ability. So are you somebody who makes your own way in the learning world because you're interested, determined, focused? Often that will be connected with natural curiosity. You're the sort of person who's interested in why. You don't want to be told what the answer is. You're interested in understanding why it's the answer, or maybe wondering whether we're even asking the right question. So we want people who've got an interrogative and explorative intelligence, rather than people who want to just be a sponge. Again, that's not for everyone, but it probably is for most people in this room. And finally, for our vocational subjects like medicine and vet and architecture, to a lesser degree law and engineering, we're looking for a vocational commitment. But as I said earlier, we're not too worried otherwise about career at this stage. It'll sort itself out later. So things like work experience are not really a relevant factor for the vast majority of our subjects. These are the things that we're focusing on. We're looking for people who are really interested, really hardworking, good academically, who are going to be good independent learners.